World of reggae do their thing a big way different. Oh Lord, world of reggae play reggae music a big way different. We don't know I'm Errol Dunkley, Original Ground Nation Foundation, International Jamaican Authentic Artist. So big up Danny Pepper and the world of reggae. Boom shock!
Yes, this is Danny Pepperseed for World of Reggae. We are live and direct from Antwerp in Belgium, and next to me is a certified reggae legend, real founding father, Mr. Errol Dunkley. Mr. Dunkley, welcome to World of Reggae.
Yeah, Danny, greetings. World of Reggae fans, big up yourself. It's a pleasure to be at World of Reggae, you know what I mean? Because you don't know reggae is the thing, my thing.
Yes, man. Well, we just saw a great show from you, together with the Asham band from Belgium.
Thanks.
What was your experience working with this European band? Because, well, according to me, they are one of the finest bands we have in Europe. So what was your experience working with them?
Well, I want to tell you that they surprised me because we never had any whole heap of rehearsal. It was like a sound check rehearsal. And they were beautiful, I tell you the truth. I can imagine if we had like 2-3 rehearsals together, we could have done more songs, you know what I mean? But that's how Jah planned it, you know, and that's how it went. And it was beautiful. I enjoy singing for the people in Belgium. They gives me vibes, you know what I mean? And these vibes really move me, you know, because when you give me good vibes, I give you good vibes, you know what I mean? So it's a vice versa thing. And I'm very happy that the people are pleased with my performance tonight.
Yeah, man, because actually it was the first time you are here in Belgium. Have you toured a lot in Europe?
I must tell you, I don't tour a lot in Europe. I did the Rotterdam Festival a couple of years ago. I did the festival in Switzerland a few years ago. But most of my shows that I'm doing is mostly in America, you know what I mean? And North and South America. Because I did a lot of shows in New York, Canada as well, Montreal, Toronto, Kitchener, you know, Mississauga and all these places. I even did the Jamaica Day in Canada. This is the independent show they keep in Canada every year. And I was also awarded one at a time in Canada. I did quite a lot of shows, but I was over the years I've been penetrating America, you know what I mean? And North America. I did California just in September. I did San Diego in October, and August as well. I did Sierra Nevada Festival, you know. So this year I said, well then, I'm gonna have to do some more work in Europe, cause over the years I've never done any shows in Europe. It's mostly TV shows and radio interviews and paper interviews, cause I did interview on the TV station in Luxembourg. I did a TV station in Monte Carlo. I even went to Rome and did the TV show on the national TV station in Rome. You know what I mean? But that was when I had OK Fred in the chart.
So that's a good little while ago, you know?
All right, that is from in the 80s. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to penetrate Europe now because I haven't done much live performance in Europe. But America and Jamaica, you know, are my place that, and Canada. Yeah.
Well, it's very good to see you here. And during your show, you took us on a trip down to memory lane. Now, in this interview, I want to take you down on a trip to memory lane because I want to go way back where it all started because you were like one of the first Jamaican child stars, you know. You had Delroy Wilson, and then of course, like after Delroy, you came, you know. Um, well, you started for Prince Buster, were legendary ska artist and ska producer, sound system man. Tell us a bit about those days, cause really want to go back to the early '60s.
All right, well, I went to school in the 60s. You know, I was a young kid, teenage kid, like 12, 13, 14, coming up in the 60s. And my first producer was Prince Buster when I was like 11 years old. But I never had any success with Prince Buster. I never had any hit songs. That was like the creation of my career, you know. And but when I was like 13, 14, 15, going on 16, I had a ton load of hit songs. That's when Jamaica people start listening to me and start recognizing Errol Dunkley. When I start singing for Joe Gibbs, I had You're Gonna Need Me, which was a #1. Please Stop Your Lying Girl, another hit song. I'm Going Home was another hit song again. And I branches out from Joe Gibbs. I start working at Studio One. Leroy Sibbles invited me to come to Studio One because he was like my mentor, you know what I mean? As a bigger kid to me, you know what I mean?
So, yeah, Leroy Sibbles from the Heptones.
And at the time he was like, he was playing his bass guitar. A lot of the Studio One rhythm, Leroy Sibbles played the bass, which probably the world know, you know what I mean? So he invited me to come to Studio One, but I did a lot of songs for Studio One. I even have songs right now at Studio One that I did when I was like 13, 14 that hasn't been released until now, you know what I mean? But I never had any success. I did a lot of songs at Studio One, but nothing big. And my big songs after that was like with Rupee Edwards. I had the 3-in-1 medley. And I had Love Is Amazing, which I produced myself and licensed it to Rupee Edwards on the Success label. But Gregory was working with Rupee Edwards at the time, you know what I mean? And we decided that we were gonna team up and form our own label, which we did with the African Museum label. And we had 3 successful songs. Movie Star, Gregory with Look Before You Leap, and My Only Lover, you know what I mean? But then I branches out, you know what I mean? And I produce songs like You'll Never Know, which I licensed to Sonia Pottinger at the time. And with that licensing, that song to her became my first album, you know, because she wanted her to do an album.
The Ooh Darling album released in England on Attack Records?
That's the album. It was produced by Sonia Pottinger, you know what I mean? And she was one of the first woman producer in the business. She had people like Marcia Griffiths up beside her. She had Patsy and Stranger Cole. She had a lot of artists, even Delana Stewart, you know what I mean? Of the Gay Lads. She had a lot of artists up beside her at the time. And I decided to do the album for her, which I did. And then I produced other songs and licensed to other people, you know what I mean? and I had the Gregory control the African Museum, and I move on. And shortly after that, I went to England, working for a company, and then it never worked. I go back home. I did an album, produce an album alongside Azzy Ebert, and we found the OK Fred, you know what I mean?
You recorded at Channel One studio.
Yeah, yeah, you know the history. Yeah, you know, other hit songs like You'll Never Know. And then I went to England, and I have a ton loads of hit songs in England. I had Happiness Forgets, Betcha by Golly Wow, Every Man Do His Thing a Little Way Different, OK Fred, you know what I mean? And it goes on. Some of the songs I can't even remember them. There's so much songs over the years.
Yeah, because, well, as you mentioned, you know, you started at a very early age, like you were 11 when you started your career as a singer in the early 60s. Well, we are roughly 50 years later now, and you're still here, you know, you're still here singing.
Thank God for that, you know what I mean? It's an inborn thing, you know? Yeah. You have other guys who've been singing long before me and still singing. Older than me, same way.
True, you know. Well, as of lately, I haven't really heard any recent recordings. Well, probably the last one I heard was one done for Steely and Clevie for the Memories album. That's an album that was released like after Steely passed away, and it was a kind of tribute to Steely. And you did a new version of You'll Never Know. Tell us about like the idea. How did Steely and Clevie approach you, and how did the whole collaboration come together?
Well, Steely have an idea that he want to do an album with all the original artists singing some of his favorite songs, and that was how this album came around about, because he recorded Ken Boothe, Leroy Sibbles, me, a lot of other artists I can't remember, but and they put a different arrangement to the improvise and the You'll Never Know brass section, and I want to tell you, it's beautiful, you know what I mean? I think it was a good idea of them doing that, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I have other albums. I have an album called Selective Songs. You've never heard it?
No, I haven't seen that. Was it released recently?
Yeah, the album released about 2 to 3 years now, produced by Tapazuki and myself. And I have another album after that Mr. Dad released before he died. Mr. Dad at Studio One. It's called Love Is Amazing, Studio One 50th Anniversary album. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, so you have any new projects you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, I got some new work to do, but I'm getting it together, because when I've done a few demo recording of a few songs that I'm gonna record, but I wanna do this album with Sly and Robbie, you know what I mean? So that is a project I'll be working on this year.
Okay, that's very great to hear. Well, now there's this thing going on in Jamaica, and you know, in Jamaica, within that context, they call it like the reggae revival, because they have a lot of young kids coming up now. You know, kids like Chronix, Protege, Ibamar, Jesse Royal, Kabaka Pyramid, and couple others. John Nine, I can't leave out. You know. Addis Pablo, Augustus Pablo's son. What do you think of the whole revival, as they call it, of reggae music within the young generation?
Well, it's a great idea, but I would love to see the youth them pattern the original way. You know what I mean? A lot of them have new ideas and sound good creatively, but most of them is just at the moment. You know what I mean? We need songs that is gonna stay around for ages, like the songs we do, like the songs Ken Boothe do, John Holt, Leroy Sibbles, myself, Dennis Brown, Delroy Wilson, Gregory Isaac. You know, those are the songs, those are the trend that these young artists gonna have to take. If not, they ain't gonna be around for long, because a lot of them come and they try to say, well then, this is not it. This is it. You know what I mean? And they have it wrong, because a lot of them can't even count cards. Them don't know bars. Them don't know how much bars make a verse. You know what I mean? They're gonna have to learn these things. A lot of them can't sing to instrument. They're gonna have to learn these things. You know, they have to go back to basic. Basic, that's where it starts.
True, that's right, you know. Well, Mr. Dunkley, thank you very much for your time, you know. You have a message for all our viewers on World of Reggae.
World of Reggae people, big up on yourself, you know, and don't stop watching World of Reggae, you know. Because World of Reggae give you it as it is. Remember that. Boom.
Yes, enough respect.